The cashier's hands trembled so badly that the coins slipped from her palm and clinked loudly against the counter. The single dad, standing with his little daughter beside him, noticed instantly. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, watching her pale face. "Why are your hands shaking?" He expected her to laugh it off or say she was cold, but her reply made his chest tighten and left him speechless. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "I haven't eaten in 2 days." The men, Ethan, froze. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, looked up at him with wide eyes, clutching the carton of milk she'd been so excited about. Ethan had been a single father for nearly 3 years now, struggling with his own storms of unpaid bills, exhaustion, and trying to balance 2 jobs. He knew hardship, but hearing the young cashier confess this so bluntly cut deeper than anything he'd heard in a long time. The cashier's name tag read Samantha. She looked like she was barely 20, with hollow cheeks and sunken eyes that betrayed how much she'd been carrying. Ethan handed her the money for his groceries but paused, not moving, just watching her hands continue to shake. He could tell this wasn't just hunger, it was something bigger, something heavier pressing her down. As he walked out of the store with Lily, he couldn't shake Samantha's voice from his mind. "I haven't eaten in 2 days." It echoed in his head like a plea for help. He had just enough to cover his bills and buy the essentials for Lily this week. But what about Samantha? What if no one else asked? What if no one else cared? That night, Ethan sat at the small wooden table in their apartment, watching Lily eat her bowl of cereal. His mind wrestled between responsibility and compassion. As a single dad, every penny mattered, yet he knew all too well the pain of being invisible, of needing help and pretending you didn't. He remembered his own nights when he'd skipped meals so Lily could eat, pretending he wasn't hungry. The next day, Ethan returned to the store, this time without groceries to buy. Samantha was there again, her posture slouched, her smile forced. He walked up to her counter, and before she could ask if he needed help, Ethan placed a simple brown bag on the counter. Inside was a sandwich, an apple, and a bottle of water. "I don't know what you're going through," he said quietly, "but no one should ever have to starve. Please, just eat this." Tears welled in Samantha's eyes. She covered her mouth with her trembling hands, shaking her head as if to refuse, but her body betrayed her hunger. She whispered, "Thank you," and clutched the bag like it was the most valuable thing in the world. Over the next week, Ethan noticed her again and again. Every time he came to shop, she seemed weaker. Finally, one evening after finishing his shift as a mechanic, Ethan lingered after paying. "Samantha," he said gently, "what's happening? Why are you here working long shifts and still starving?" Her defenses broke. She confessed that she had been paying off her younger brother's school fees while also trying to keep up with rent. Their parents had died in a car accident 2 years earlier, leaving her with nothing but debts and the responsibility of raising her brother. She was barely surviving. "I just don't want him to feel like his life is over before it even begins," she said, tears spilling down her cheeks. "I'd rather go hungry than let him lose hope." Ethan stood silent, his heart twisting. He understood sacrifice. He understood the brutal loneliness of carrying burdens alone. For a moment, he didn't even feel like just a customer, he felt like someone who had been led to this exact moment for a reason. That night, he couldn't sleep. He thought about how many people walked past Samantha each day, blind to her pain. He thought about the way she had tried to hide her shaking hands until they betrayed her. And he thought about Lily. How he'd want someone to show her kindness if she were ever in Samantha's shoes. The next morning, Ethan gathered the little he had left after rent. He didn't tell Samantha right away. Instead, he asked to meet her after her shift. She hesitated, wary of pity, but she agreed. They met at a small coffee shop, where Ethan slid a folded envelope across the table. Inside was money, just enough to cover a few weeks' rent and groceries. Samantha's eyes widened, and she immediately shook her head. "I can't accept this. You're a single dad. You have your own struggles." Ethan smiled faintly. "That's exactly why I get it. Struggle doesn't mean we stop helping each other, it means we know how much help matters." She broke down crying, her shoulders trembling as years of bottled-up weight spilled free. Ethan didn't say much, he just let her cry, because sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Weeks passed, and things began to change. Samantha slowly regained her strength, her hands no longer trembling at the register. Ethan and Lily became regulars, and slowly a friendship formed. Samantha's younger brother even joined Lily at the park sometimes, the two children laughing together as if the world wasn't as cruel as the adults knew it to be. But the story didn't end there. One evening, as Ethan was walking Lily home from school, Samantha caught up with them, clutching a sealed envelope. She handed it to Ethan, her smile bright but her eyes shining with emotion. "You don't know what you've done for me," she said. "You didn't just give me food or money, you gave me hope. And I want to give something back." Inside the envelope was a handwritten letter of gratitude, along with a small photo of her and her brother, smiling for the first time in months. Ethan held the letter in his hands, speechless again, the same way he had been that first day when she whispered she hadn't eaten. Except this time, it wasn't out of shock, it was out of awe. He realized then that sometimes the smallest moments, like